Oh, that is really loud. Okay. Should start. Yep, that's picking my microphone up. Okay. Can you hear me okay, by the way, on the stream? Is everything okay on the stream? Says on here it is. Just want to check that people can hear me, please. Yep. That's it, working. Yep, that's... Okay, cool. Right, in that case, I will start. This is oxygen not included. As you can see, there is a resume game for cycle 184. I'm not going to resume anything here. This is one of those really strange games where you just keep restarting it and you don't care. If I was to click load, you can see that I've had loads of restarts. And I ain't ashamed of it either. It's just like, it's absolutely brilliant. Sometimes I just do it for the sake of it. But anyway, I'll start a new game. Yeah, thank you. I mean, what text, hey? What text are you on about? Damn it. Might have been the wrong way round then. Shh. God damn it, I don't think anyone noticed that bit. Oh. That's a really... Shh. Okay, so we're going to start a new game. You've got survival or no sweat. We're going to do no sweat. Just to explain, you're on an asteroid, and basically you've got to survive. There are loads of different asteroids, as you can see, and they get more complicated as you go on. So there's that one which is just your basic one. That one which is full of water, I believe. Yeah, that's water. That one's ice. It just goes on. There's a lava one here, which... yeah. I'm going to start on the basic one, just give you an inkling. There we go. You can change game settings here. What type of world? Hunger. There is the sandbox mode. I'm not going to be enabling that. That's just to add things and change things. Editing, basically. Debug mode, some people call it. I'm not using it. I will say this now. I don't claim to be an expert on this game. I just love playing it. There's a lot of things I don't know. I have tried researching odd bits, pieces here and there, and to be honest, the information out there was really misleading, especially from streamers. So I sort of just decided to learn it myself, and I'll try and talk through some of that learning process while I'm playing the game as well. So starting the game up. I think I've got about 20 hours on it so far. Maybe 22 hours. Yeah. Wait. Okay, so we're going to first start off. You start off with 3 duplicates. So basically, it gives you an indication of what they can do, what they can't do. Some like doing certain things, like this one doesn't like science. It's also worth checking what their stress reaction is. As binge eaters, they're okay. Some of them actually are really loud snorers, and this you'll understand in a minute why that is so difficult to deal with. You can re-roll on the very first entry, sorry, but I'm not going to do that because I tend to just try and accept them for what they are, because they're like my children. I don't care how faulty they are, I'm still going to get on with them. I'm getting some filthy looks here. Okay, meet my three dupes. So very, very straightforward. As it tells you in the middle of the screen, you've awoken at the target location. Um, so I've been trapped underground. Basically, we've got to establish a base here and begin an escape. So zoomed in. They don't look very happy at the moment. The main thing to do with this game is to actually keep them happy and healthy. I will go through each one. You can click on a dupe, and it'll give you all the information you need on them. Their health, stress level, morale, everything is there. Morale is everything in this game. There's some great tutorials at the start, but they don't go tell you a lot of stuff when it's more complicated later on. So you've got basic controls. If you want to do them, you just click on them, and it will just give you the information there. So I'm just going to click off that because I don't want that one. And then there's colony management. There's explain it. First thing it's saying is there's no outhouse built and there's no oxygen diffuser, so we will run out of air. And here is actually is oxylight, which actually produces an oxygen temporarily. As you can see, the size of it is going down, so it's shrinking, which basically means it will run out when it gets to zero. Look at it as a piece of ice melting. I never thought of it like a fallout shelter, actually, to be honest. So basically, I've got to dig. Now, if I zoom out, you've got the fog of war style thing. You can't see it till you get in there. And we've got to start digging on things. So I'm going to click on dig, and you can just select an area to dig, and it'll start digging. Holding your mouse on anything will show you what it is. This is sandstone, sand, algae. So you can find out what anything and everything is. As they're digging it, this is collecting resources. So it's now dropping resources on the floor as such. So you can see sandstone is now building up. It's gone up to 8 tons now, and that is actually what's on the floor here. That's this stuff here. You can later on file that away. So as let's get these built to there. Right, I'm going to do what it says on the screen, so you've got to see what's going on. If you see this going on, there's a lot of shortcut keys I'm going to try and avoid using. If I do use, need to say what did you press there, because it's a force of habit. I've just paused the game. There's your pause, play, forward fast. And I will try and explain things. Please ask questions. I might not be able to answer them. I won't answer anything that I don't know, or I'll tell you I don't know if I can't answer it. So the resources aren't really important now, because you will need to know later on what they are. So if I click on these at the bottom, these are your build. So you build ladders, floors, doors, and storage bins. There's oxygen there, power for oxygen, and whatnot. So now we need to build an outhouse, because that's actually what it's telling us to do there. So I'm going to put an outhouse here. I'm actually going to put 3 of them down, as there is 3 of them. And what they'll do, you see now that they're grabbing resources that have been dropped on the floor, and they're using them to build. Now, if we don't have the resource, you can't build it. Simple as that. And you will find stuff greyed out on here if you can't build it. I think we can build everything at the moment. Yep. So while they're doing that, I'm going to do what they say and actually build an oxygen diffuser, which this is a diffuser to create oxygen. So let's slap that into there. There we go. They can now go for a pee. I'm going to turn that music down a little bit because it is a little bit. There we go. If you want anything louder, just say. If anything's got like red box on them, it is a problem. Insufficient resource. There's no dirt, so I need dirt to make these toilets usable. So to get dirt, the easiest thing to be to dig. So I'm just going to start digging while he's doing that. The best thing, the secret on this game is to actually just keep digging. Digging is everything. I'm putting a ladder down here, and then I'm going to tell them to dig. Down here. So the more resources I get them at the start, the better it is. To put a floor in is this box here and a tile. So you can see that this has already got a floor. You don't really need it. They walk faster on these tiles, but it also stops the floor from collapsing. Sometimes, especially where over here there is sand, the sand will fall down. So if it's on a level where you're trying to use it as ground, it will just collapse and bring the ground down. Oh, sorry, is that better? Can you hear the game now? Sorry, Dawson. Thank you for pointing out. I wasn't actually paying any attention to that at all. Thank you for pointing out. As you can see now, the toilet message is gone, which means they've picked up dirt. They've shoved it in automatically. Again, a lot of it is self-explanatory. So, for example, now it's saying I've got the diffuser, but it's saying there's no power source. So I'm going to make a power source. Power source is a hamster wheel, as you would expect. So I'll put a hamster wheel down and a power cable that goes between the air machine, shall we call it, and the wheel. Just as a heads up, when you are putting down power, you can put them in the floor. That actually, like so, works. But don't do it to mud, because all it does with ground like this, it just removes. The ground will just be removed when it does it. So if you build it under something, it will actually remove the ground, and that item will no longer work until you put ground in. You can see this dupe here. Bird is actually holding their breath. So popped eardrums apparently, and hungry. Yeah, that's a good point. It is actually asking me to put food down as well. Now, while we're putting the hamster wheel down, I'm going to make put some batteries down to store the power that they're going to. Otherwise, every time they use it, it'll just stop working as soon as they get off. As you can see, the battery has now gone grey, which means I can't build any more. Which means I need resources for it. I say it's very. What was you not expecting, Nate? Sorry, mate, I didn't catch that bit. The level of detail to this, or so now it may look quite simple that I'm building an oxygen thing, and it's a hamster wheel to make electricity. Oh, I guess this. You're going to hear the words on this stream tonight of scratching the surface. And honestly, even with how much I've played this, I still only feel I'm scratching the surface with it. What I am going to do to keep them clean, I'm putting a basin in. I'm not in a rush to do that. So I definitely need some more. So what do I need for this? I need metal ore. So here we go. We should be able to get some down here. Oops! Damn it! I actually thought I cancelled that. I didn't. As you can see, that metal wiring I asked to put in, they've actually started digging it out already. So I'm just going to cancel that because I don't want them to be doing that. Let's put a floor in here. I mean, things may go wrong in this stream. I may have to start again. I'm not too bothered. There is an end game, but there's no rush to get to it. Right, it's coming to the end of the day for the dupes, so they are going to be. They're just grabbing some food. Up here is how much food is left, and you can see how much currently available, and it will tell you how much they're using. They don't particularly like this food, hence their miserable face. Now we hit a nighttime cycle, so they're just going to go for a sleep. You've got your speedy game here. I do recommend you speed up for nighttime. But what you also can do is give you a chance to get things ready. Now, we're going to need a water source. There's a water. That's polluted water. This is clean water. That's polluted water up there. So it looks like I'll be using this one here, because then I can drain this one into there, hopefully. So while they're sleeping, I will cancel that, and I will make a ladder to come down here. So I say make a ladder, I'm just telling them to build a ladder, so it isn't so much making one. Let's get them down to here. I will actually bring them down a bit further, purely so we can just get water straight away. I'll change the design of that later. You can cancel anything you've asked to be built. For example, I've asked this to be built. I can just click cancel and cancel that, and they won't put this base down anymore for the tile. So now I'll just click on the base again, and it will start building it. I'm still waiting for this dig for more power. Without more power, we are going to struggle here. This is now the daytime, so they do like to get up. They do like to go for a pee before they. That's clean. They like to clean everything as well, keep the germs down. I tell you, yes, it's starting to fall lazy. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Sorry, I'm struggling with the chat screen at the moment. For some reason it was. There we go, it's better. Right, okay. They're now building these devices. There's the hamster wheel being run round. You'll see this is the power device, and that's the level of detail you have. You can see the power being put into the power. I know Dawson, who loves his micromanaged stuff, he's going to love this bit. It actually tells you how the wattage and everything. The joules are going through the power, if you really want to go into the details. But if you check the power here, if I hold my mouse over the cable, it would tell you its potential load is on this current load is 120 watts out of the 1,000 that the cable can take. So you can sort of see where this is going already now. Now this is red, so it means it's not working. It says it needs algae to actually, so they've got to put algae in there for it to produce oxygen. So we will find some algae in a minute. I'm sure we had some earlier. I can't remember. I'm sure there was some around. There, they'll find it. There we go. There's algae. I stopped digging here because there was an oxygen thing here, so I'm just going to get them to dig there. One of the things you can do as well, you can sort of redirect the dupes. There's 2 down here currently, and there is one. There is one here. If I say, well, actually, I want this because I want the algae, you can click on priority, and you select the priority. Everything is priority 5 whenever you set it by default. So I'm going to say, right, I need some algae, so I'm going to make this a 6. Now, if I press priority, you'll now see that those 6, they're still 5. So they're just going to go for that bit of the algae, and then they're going to carry on doing what they want in order. If you click on a dupe, it will tell you what their to-do list is here, and this goes through all the stuff they're currently doing. The more I can literally sit here and ask for everywhere in here to be dug, done out, ladders, but the more you do, the more it adds to this list, and it will add stress to them, and it will slow things down dramatically, so don't overdo it. Now he's running now, I suspect, to put algae. There we go. So now algae's gone in there. This is now producing oxygen. We can now press F1 on the keyboard, or this one here, and that gives me an oxygen overlay. So you can actually see how much oxygen's in there. Because we had that this oxygenite stuff running here, it's actually quite good here. The good news is this will tell you, this will stop working when the pressure's too high. It'll just stop, and then it'll continue when the pressure comes down, so you won't be overusing it. Right, the water basin is ready, and here you can set which direction. This arrow here, left and right, is when they walk past it, which do you want them to clean their hands when they walk past it? And the idea is yes, but when they come out the toilets, I'm going to put it just there. They can't wash their hands at the moment because they don't have any water to actually go in the sink. So what I'm going to do is push them down to prioritise this. Now, this priority thing looks straightforward and simple. It's actually not. It gets a lot harder, because what happens as you have more dupes running around, doing a priority 6 or 7 on something is great, and they will come running. A lot of them, or most of them, will come running to do it. The problem is it pulls them off other jobs, including making food, making oxygen, collecting stuff for oxygen. So it does have a knock-on effect. Anything you're doing, be very, very careful. While he's doing that, I'm going to go to the water and plumb in. And there we are. So that's going to be. This is how we're going to get the water out of here. I'll put that in there, and they will hopefully come along and build that. I need to dig out that one. I think. No, just cancel that. Okay, let's. There we go. So you see now they're just putting sandstone. The contents they need to build this. They're just bringing it, delivering it. Sorry, I should say. And now this bird is going to start building it. Right, now they can get water, and you should see one of them come down here. That's Ruby. Yep. Sucked water out from the little tank there of water, going upstairs. I'm pressing the tab key just to speed up, rather than pressing the... And now they've put water in here. Again, if I go back to normal speed, if I zoom in here, you'll see there's blue this side and nothing this side. So basically that is now a sink which they can now wash their hands with. These are just tutorials. I'm just going to close these. Not particularly bothered about tutorials at the moment. And one good thing about the game does do, it tells you who's idle. You can actually click on them here and see who's idle. Obviously, I mean, my daughter's name would normally come up because she's very idle. Oh dear. Right, so get your stig. Don't know if you can hear me, so I'm really hoping. Okay, so while they're digging, I am going to put down, they want me to put down, I need to put more power down. Here we go, I've got more resources now, so I'm going to shove the battery in there. Whoops, damn it. Only one can go in. Again, we're waiting for them to build it. I can't put another one down because we've run out of resources already. But again, I can prioritise it and say, make that a 6 so they build that quicker. You'll see this yellow bar on the archway building up. That is actually building up to delivering you some goodies. What is this here? This is just a wire. Okay, so I'm just going to deconstruct that. I must have just clicked it earlier and put it in. Now, if I click on power again, wires, I can make sure, yeah, the wire, because it's going straight through. It looks like whoever's been digging has allowed me to do another one. So they have just used a hamster wheel to actually build up the power. Come on, you're almost there. Oh, I think, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling how many times you can restart this. I don't even get pissed off with restarting it, to be honest. So because he's made that power battery, he's now running on the wheel to bring up the power. I can actually do another mode, which is this mode. Dawson's going to love this in a minute. It displays your power consumption. So if I click on it, you will see that the batteries are on is it 10,000 there? And as this uses oxygen, it will just start sucking juice out of it. And you can see it actually going down in detail like that. Or you can just watch these bars here, but it is nice to have the breakdown. I can also then go to the wires and see how much load these wires are actually using, and whether they're being overloaded or not. Because only one load thing off there, it hasn't gone up from 120 yet. I didn't say nothing. Why are you idle? Oh, I see they haven't got resources for that moment. Okay, so what I am going to do, I'm going to put some beds down for them because the happier they are. Oh, they're about to go to bed, so I might have actually put those beds down a bit late. So let me just speed this up to. That's just the top here. Cycle is obviously a day, and you can click on a dupe to see if they're happy. And also, this is an overall statistic. Let me just slow this down a minute. There's 3 dupes. It's telling me the population of 3. Stress level, it's the highest stress level of a dupe. It's really important to keep an eye on this, and if it is there, you just click on it and it will then show you on the side here what it is. You just keep clicking it and it cycles through every dupe. And if it's sick dupes, it tells you their percentage of sick and how sick they are. And obviously that was the food I was showing you earlier. Our food is going down slowly. Calories available, so we've got 17,000. Okay, cool. So let me just speed this up. Let them get over this little sleep. They do like to clean things. They do like to clean things first thing in the morning when they wake up. He's washing his hands. Bear in mind, something else, if like that was he was washing his hands. Because he was washing his hands, the other two couldn't, so they just walked past. There is a germ factor to this. To just slow this down again. There is so much on here. Actually, I'll show you this one. This is a temperature overlay. This is quite important. So this shows you how cool it is around here. Green is good. Minerals, but I won't need to go into that at the moment. Light, I will explain light a bit later on. Plumbing, straightforward plumbing. Ventilation, not using that. This decor is very, very important for their morale. So they don't like, they really don't like just seeing boring stuff. For example, this, they're okay with the arc at the start. They don't like the toilets because it's just boring for them, and it actually gives them a minus 43 for decor. You need to keep the decor really, really high with them. But I will be making a proper toilet sound of these shortly. You will see me head for that. Germ overlay. This will show you where germs can come from, and the more the game progresses, for some reason there is germs all over this oxygen diffuser as well. And one of the beds has it as well. I'll be honest with you, there's some things in the game I don't tend to worry about, and germs is one of them, and food, advanced food is one of the others I don't tend to worry about too much. So right, while I'm talking, I do need to start getting more resources. So now that's got the cat there saying they don't have enough skill to actually dig these red areas. So I will have to upgrade them. To upgrade them, you go to skills, and it will show you. Like any other system with skills, the more stuff you do, your XP, the more XP you get, the closer you get to doing things. Getting the next skill level, then you can actually upgrade. So you've got digging, cooking. There's all sorts. For me personally, I tend to target digging straight away purely so they can just get on with digging things. While they're doing that, I'm going to get this floor reinforced because I'm digging underneath. If we come across any sand here, yeah, so that's sand there. The minute I dig under here, that floor would have just fell through. So that's why I do it. And then what will happen is dupes can get stuck. Dupes can actually cross over one gap. So if there's a gap, they can cross over a one hole gap, and they can climb up a two squared gap. So an example would be, I'll do it here. A dupe can climb over this, and a dupe could actually climb between those two. So one gap between and climb up two. It's worth remembering that because they can get stuck when you're doing things like this. If someone was digging underneath and that ground had fell through, these two would have been stuck here, and if I hadn't noticed, they will starve to death. Hi, MZ. Now, because they can't dig here, they're going to stop after this one because they can't dig the rest of these, and they should come down and start digging here. As you can see, when they're digging out the floor, putting the floor in, that toilet is now unusable. Now it's usable. So when there's no base on anything, it is temporarily unusable. You will see it here in a second. These toilets here, there we go, they're unusable. And now they're usable again. What fun it is. Right, so we're getting there. They've actually built these beds here. They will assign the beds to themselves, or you can click on a bed and just click the name of the person you want. So, yeah, I want Bert to go there. The other two will just assign themselves a bed automatically, so that's all good. God bless you. I'll get this dug out over here. You've got a catch-22 now when you're building. Whatever you do is going to be wrong, so don't worry about it. If you are building, it's I would say build stuff on the basis that you are going to destroy it later, especially on the first couple of hours of the game. Everything you put in will be in the wrong place. Like this water might not be in the right place where I need it for now. And you want to be very careful of things like, so I'm going to do a ladder going up to the top here, but what I really need to be careful of is if we hit water up here, like this polluted water here, if that polluted water falls down, it will then drop down into any of these other ladders and then fill up these areas, or even worse, contaminate my clean water. One of the things I tend to do, especially in early builds, I just put a block either side like that. They can climb over that, and it means any water that accidentally falls down from the top will get hopefully stopped. Now you've probably heard that little dinging noise. The dinging noise is we now have a gift. So basically we go on there and we go to a blueprint. It's basically this is a 3D printer. So we can choose one of the dupes, one or two dupes, sorry, or we can have a care package which is salt water, or this is seeds. So I don't need seeds yet. Dupes will be better, but there we go. This one snores loudly, so I'm not going to take this one, because if I take this one, he will keep the others awake unless you move his bed away from them, and I don't really have the resources to do that. While you're on these menus, the game is paused behind, so that's a really good feature. Sometimes actually comes in very handy. So I'm going to go for Meep, just double checking. Yep. So print him out, and now you'll see this yellow bar here. Next printing pod will be ready in 3 cycles, so 3 days I can print a new dupe. I have an achievement apparently. Bed and bath. Okay, so it's starting to form. We're starting to form a bit of a shell now, nicely. We'll do a ceiling on there. Again, ceilings, be very careful. You don't want them too high, you don't want them too low. If you do them too high, they can't reach them to put plumbings in them without going above them. So that can be a bit awkward. But at the same time, if it's sometimes you need the airflow in the premises to actually to go. As you can see, as I said before about just dig to your heart's content, it's really advisable just to sort of do this sort of thing. Just go, yeah, dig everything. While they're digging there, I'm going to put down for plumbing a tap. Now what this will do, it's not a tap, sorry, it's so they can drain water. I can't put that in there because there is actually what I will do actually is I'll put a base in there. I'll come back to that in a second when they've done. Oh, someone's coming. There we go. Now, if you recall, there was something over here we couldn't dig through here. This here. Now, if I go to my skill levels, there's the new dupe that turned up. Meep actually has got 1 skill point already given, so I can go through. The heart is the stuff they love doing, and they'll be a lot happier doing it. But at the moment, I'm going to go for hard digging because that's the one that actually counts. So yeah, So now you can see I've come back out. You can see Meep can dig this. Not the others can't, unfortunately, but only he can. So I don't know which one Meep is. Oops. Oh, sorry. Didn't want to disturb you going to the toilet. There's Meep. So Meep it's obviously coming to the end of the day. I say obviously like we're supposed to know. Did he actually? I'll tell you what I'm doing actually. Why the? They're about to go to bed, so I'll speed it up, let them just get to the next cycle, and I'll put this tap in here. I can turn it round. Some things can be turned round. Again, there's some things there's no manual for. There's some things I've been doing for weeks, and then suddenly I've gone, oh my god, you can actually turn around. Like, I knew you could turn this tap round with O, but I only found out literally about a week ago there was something else you put down you could reverse. I genuinely didn't know, because you can't reverse everything on something you don't want to, and I can't. It helped change the game for me. So, as I said before, these beds automatically get assigned to them if there's a free bed at night time. So you can actually click on them and it'll tell you Meep is assigned to this one, Nikolai to that one, Ruby to this one, Bert to this one, and this one's currently empty. Or you can move them over. This is where if someone snores, you build a bed further away and put them on there. I'm not saying snorers are bad people, but you do need to put them further away from you sometimes. Don't you, Jess? I am really getting horrible looks. I'm going to build over the archway here. I usually go straight across, but there we go. let's let them do a bit of digging for now. Oh, because some sand has fell from here when they were digging this, the sand has actually fell down and blocked the toilet, so they can't access that toilet now. You have to keep your eye on these things. Oh, God damn it. Right, they really do want food, so I'm going to do some food now. So this is a food making machine. Oh, whilst I was there, you just saw that, that just dropped down there, and more. There we are. So I now need to get rid of that. Otherwise, this can actually block walkways if not careful as well. So let's get a power. And again, as I said before, you can dig in the power into the pathway, so I tend to do that a lot. I'm doing that because I will be getting rid of this power later on, and I don't want to stop the food machine from working. Sorry, Loki, didn't mean to be rude to you. It's not your fault. I hate you so much all the time. I was showing Loki this actually when I was on holiday, and she was really quite surprised how different it was to what she was expecting. As again, I say, I mean, we're really only scratching the surface at the moment. We haven't even. I would say we're not even. This isn't even 1% of the game doing anything. The dupes should never really have nothing to do, which is what they're doing now. Right, now I'm just going to pause it for a minute so we don't waste too much time. Because basically, time is oxygen, and they could be doing things from making oxygen to making food. So this is a musher, basically, for making food. They can, at the moment, only make mush bars. Mush bars are really easy to make. They need dirt and water. So as we can get water from here and dirt from their resources, this all stuff dropped on the floor currently. And as you can see from earlier in the game where I showed you, it's got a lot bigger. A lot bigger. God, I've got a bit of coal already. Okay, that's handy to know. There's the algae that we need for the air machines. So dirt, we've got 33 tons of dirt, and we've got all this water down here. So we've got a fair bit of food for a while. And yes, they are eating dirt. So let's continue on that, and I'll click on that and tell them to do 20 pieces. If I go back to the power consumption, you can now see what's going on with these power loads. Now, current load is 360 watts. Potential loads basically means if everything runs on that load, what it will actually use up. So it's saying 360 is the maximum wattage out of 1,000 the wire can handle. And again, I've learnt a really hard way how to do this, and the same with oxygen. I will do the oxygen the way I did it originally. I'll do it originally. You can see the power's dropping down rapidly now because of that, because of the food maker, the mush maker. So I will need to put in another hamster wheel at some stage, and they're already going to bed. Okay, let's get this floor ready for when they wake up. They can start building this. I do have to be careful. If you hold your mouse on an area, it will tell you how much oxygen is there, how many grams of oxygen, whether it's breathable, and the temperature. And as you will find as you come down here, you've got carbon dioxide, which is unbreathable, obviously. At some stage I will have to look at getting rid of that, and this is where things start to get complicated. Machines you use to do things will produce things like dirty water, carbon dioxide, and various other things. So, okay, they'll let them put these down. I'm not going to go too much into this. I don't want the germs of the algae. It's unbreathable gas, so... there we go. Right, so they're just building stuff at the moment. Right, this water here, this is basically it's a dump water. If they pick up water off the floor or mop any water up, they can then dump it in here. And here you actually tell it what water to go in. So I would tick water. There's nothing else at the moment. You have to be a little bit careful at the very beginning of the game. Because there's no other water in the game, when more water gets added, as in dirty water, polluted water, sorry, because I've ticked, oh god damn it, because I've ticked the all box, I can't even if I only tick water, it'll still do the all box. There's only one thing, see. Polluted water will appear in here when we get access to it, and it will be ticked, and they will start dumping polluted water in here. It only works in the beginning, so I tend to advise not to actually tick that for now. wait until you've got access to dirty water. As soon as you have access to dirty water, you come to here, it will show water and polluted water. Then you just tick water and it won't dump it in there by accident anymore. But it is a real pain in the arse when you don't see that and you forget. Okay, what I am going to do, I'm going to remove that sink that I put in here. I'm going to probably put in 2 more toilets, actually, and I will remove that, and then we'll put in another sink. I'll put one there, and I'll put one here. There we go. So, just to show why I'm doing this, I'm putting a door on there now. We'll put a door on the other side of here. And what happens is you get bonus points for rooms. So if I press this room overlay, if you click on it, it's currently a miscellaneous room. And if I want it to be a washroom, it tells you what you need to make it washroom. What it does, it gives them a morale boost when they have a room dedicated to themselves. A room mustn't have, or the average room mustn't have more than 65 tiles, I think it is. Currently this one has 573, and that's because the doors aren't recognised yet, and it's going all the way along here as well. So once it builds its doors, it'll shorten it down and make it to a room. Same with bedrooms as well. This will be made. Whoops! I will be making the bedroom into a room. Put the door there. I tend to do 21 tile space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 19, 20, 21. So if I put the door there, that should be right. You sometimes get it wrong when you're doing it. You're not counting, or it lags a bit. But this should make them into a bedroom. Now this is a great idea, but it can backfire, because what can happen now is the oxygen that we're making here can't always get in there, so they can be running out of oxygen. But again, we'll come to this we'll address these as we need them. What I'm going to do is try and make a power plants down here. So let's put in some hamster wheels here. So let's put in 4 hamster wheels, and I'll put just a couple of batteries in for now, just so we can start. Okay, that wasn't a couple, but I think you get the gist. There we go. I need to set the direction of the sink, so when they walk past it, direction to the left. No, I haven't. Ow. There we go. Need to set that one to the left. There we go. So that's all going through nicely. As soon as this will work now, actually, because of the wall behind it. You can see it's changed colour, and that's because it's now they've got a morale now here. I've got a effect, as you can see there. It says morale +1 near the bottom of that list, and it's telling you what you're required to have in the house, in the room. It says the room tile is 42 tiles. But it mustn't be over 65. I think these ones mustn't be. What I tend to try and do is I try and make the rooms all the same size, and then I can stack them on top of each other easier to make them look nicer. Oh, they've built this room here. Let me see if this one's done. That one's done as well. This is currently 63 tiles. So yeah, I did actually do the right size for that one. Let's try and just keep going and get as much resource as possible, really. There we go. Now, I just realised that I won't do a tutorial on food safety. We don't need that. Skills. There we go. With these dupes have now got skill levels. Their XP has actually gone up. So what I'll just do for now is I'll give them all digging skills, because that is what we're mainly doing. And then probably one of them I will give as carrying skills or construction. The other two I tend to go for. So I'll do one for construction, and one for carrying on the next upgrade. Right, so going quite nicely now, he says confidently. There's our polluted water. As soon as it... the problem is now they're trying to charge these 2 bloody power supplies I put in, and they haven't even built the others. So I'm going to give them a priority of 7. Damn it, I put destruct, not priority. Priority of 7 to actually would help if I actually press 7. So they will start building those. And I might as well put a floor in here ready for when it's... Right, still on fast play at the moment, so I tend to leave it on fast play quite a lot now. Yeah, to be honest, the decor is quite important. You can, like for example, in the bedroom, I'm just slide down a little bit. You will see it's a morale, but I can actually put decor in here to increase the morale as well. I can't put any decor down yet because I don't actually have any. Things like paintings, flower pots. Anything that's they're going to make them enjoy it, make it look nicer. They don't actually like bare wires and pipes showing. So when they can see like the wires from here, the ones underground are fine. These ones here they won't like that, especially if they're walking past all the time, and it will actually knock their morale down. Again, it's not important at this stage of the game, but it is important to keep it on there. I've just noticed something. I'd done a big stretch here to dig, if you recall. What's happened is, as I've dug this part, the sand has fell down and then blocked. They now can't get access to it. So I just need to dig those parts out there. So if I just click to dig those sand, they will go up there and it will start clearing it. Here we go. These are now built. So I can now start doing something else. So I can actually put more food down or whatever. What I am going to do down, really important thing, is actually a research station. I will put a research station in. I'll put it up here actually. And I will send the wires through. I tend to do them through behind doorways and in the floors, but bear in mind, if wires cross, it will use the power from that power source. So for the moment, once I've fitted this wire, this station will only use the power from these batteries. But if I link this power here and touch like that, it will then straight away use that, but it will overload because it adds all the wattage together. Even if it's not sending the wattage through that particular cable, it will still add the wattage for that and the food and the air machine, even for the cables down here, even though it's taking power from here. So it's a very can you keep all the wires? Yes, you can keep all the wires underground. I only did those ones because I knew I was digging out the floor at some point, so I didn't want to. If I dug out the floor, it would have stopped them working. Right, let me just do this. We've got another dupe available. So we've got a choice of food here, which is nice. Eggs, which I'll get into a bit later if we have time. And then we've got 2 characters, 2 dupes. Let's just see what they can do. I don't like the stressful destructive ones through stress. Mind you, you can't win. When they get stressed, if they cry, they put them around everyone else. If they're disruptive, they always destroy items which you don't want destroying for obvious reasons. And if they, I can't remember the other one is, they start weeing themselves, and you guarantee they won't just stand there and wee. They will go down near the clean water supply and just pee themselves. Yeah, so 2 wires, you can keep all the wires underground, including plumbing as well, as plumbing will come in a minute. But later on, thicker wires come and they can't go underground. Some can, some can't, but you can. There are other ways of doing it. Another thing I do tend to do with some of the games, I will make corridors for some parts of the areas. Like for example, where I put my water, I'd like to have my clean water here, say my dirty water over here. I like to have a little gap in between to stop contamination, and then I have a walkway underneath between the two, and that stops me having flow from water dropping down at the top. Nothing in this game will happen the way you want it to, expect it to, and every incident or accident you don't want is going to happen as well. You'll have an emergency every like 30 seconds as you get later in the game. I'm just going to increase the priority of these things now. I personally don't recommend increasing the priority of an actual device. So for example, with these generators, I can actually increase the priority of them. They're currently a 5. If I give them a 9, as soon as these get down to a lower level, they will come and start using them. That can be very dangerous, because what can happen if you have too many things at higher levels, they'll stop digging, they'll stop building things, because they're like, we need to do this first. So don't do it permanently. The cables I've done here to build, they're just going to build them, then that 6 goes away. And then that's fine. So these ones are really, really bad for the habit. You can also go to the wheel and you set it here at what level you want the battery before they start jumping on to recharge it. So you can say, like, when it gets to 90%, I want them to start jumping on it. It might be something really important. It might be something you don't value very important, so you just set it to 10. But at the moment, we're not going to do that, because this is more for complications for later on. So let me just put these back down to 5 again. The priority is essential. Those cabinets going up aren't connected to the machines anymore. Which cabinets? Sorry. These ones here, you mean, Ace? Sorry. And also, I've just gone to check the food. The food, they've made those 20 bars I asked for earlier, and it tells me there's 45 cows. Cables, sorry. So those cables, they're in the wall now, as you can see. If I press F2, it just goes between the 2 modes. So now it's feeding power there, but that hasn't been built yet for some reason. They're waiting copper. They should actually have copper, so let me just increase... I'm increasing the priority of that for them to build it quicker. Oh, they were actually coming. My bad. I was being impatient. So basically, this device here is going to use power from these batteries. But the air machine and the food machine is only going to be using power for these batteries. I can join them up, but they will overload quicker than you realise. What I tend to do is Dawson will know what I mean about this. I tend to sort of like stack things and keep things in like an order. We've played tower defence games, and Dawson's actually re-scrapped his whole base just to make similar towers all together so they look nice. And this is co-op tower defence, so let me go to the research station. Click on it. Research. Don't feel overwhelmed by this. There is a lot in here. Yes, you just need to go for what is going to be essential for your needs. So, for example, there's another way of making air here. So I'm going to go for the food one first of all. It isn't usually the one I go for, but I'm just doing it to show you guys. Thank you, Phaser, for subscribing. So let me speed that back up again. You can always tell when it gets to the end of the day that the dupes do like to go for their little their munch and their pee. So they're all going to go to bed now. So I've got 5 dupes, I've got 5 beds, so I need more beds. I'll double click. So basically, if you click on this, it tells me here it's awaiting delivery of dirt to actually activate what I need. Now, if before anyone asks, you ask them, do they all sleep at night? The simple answer is yes. The complicated answer is no. They all sleep, but you can actually schedule each individual dupe to actually do their own things. So you can set 4 of them to stay up just at night while the rest of them will sleep, just to maintain things. I haven't done that yet, purely because it's a little complicated and things can go wrong quite heavily. There we go. This dupe is now studying, so he's now in his science research station, and you can see the science bar here. When that gets to the end, I will then have access to here. I found out this hard way. If you put 2 research stations down, you still only research one thing at a time. So I actually put 2 down, thinking 2 different dupes could do it, and it didn't work. So I was a little unhappy with that. Right, again, you see I'm hammering through this because I just want loads and loads and loads of resources. I better put in some furniture. Now, what I'm going to do here, I am going to put 1 bed. That's 1 bed tile like that away from the others. It leaves me emergency bed to go in. I think it's 9, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beds now. That means if I do pick up a snorer, I will put the snorer into that bed and he won't keep the others awake. Oh dear, right, okay. While they're doing this, I'm just going to, god damn it, cry a little bit, I think. Let's put some storage bins in. There's a pros and cons. Storage bins aren't really needed. Advantage of them, it tidies things up. They will pick things up. The other advantage is sometimes, as I said before, you have access everything in your resources, everything you've dug, and it's on the floor. But just say, for example, the wall falls in, or you dig here, or I dig this all out, and all this rubble drops down to the bottom of the map, and you can't access it. They can no longer access it. It will vanish off here. So sometimes you do need to collect resources. So these are storage bins. You can then go into each one and set what you want it to store. So if there's something particular you're after, like you want critter eggs for later on, you can say, yeah, just keep all the critter eggs in here. It is very in depth. I'm going to click all of them. Click all, copy settings, and copy it to those three. So when they're doing nothing now, they're just going to pick up stuff like they're doing here and shove it in the container. They will fill up really quickly. On some of the games I have, I literally will have about five to six levels of storage, and 14 across. And then I have I will show you what happens to that when I get it. But say there is a use for having it. It helps clear the floor. And again, if you are going to be taking floors away, you will find stuff will vanish. For example, you know, the dirt here. If I was digging up here, and eventually there was all stuff on the floor here, when I dig the bottom, it would fall into the polluted water. I just realised they can't get to that part there, so let me just... So it's very easy to miss what's going on. You do have to try and read these messages. Ignore the oxygen. There's never going to be enough oxygen, and never happy. Research complete. Now, research is complete, as it's been told me. But what you will notice, I'll just pause it there, is the build menu at the bottom here now has these sort of symbols on them. So if I go into oxygen, you will now see there is a new type of oxygen builder. Consumes algae to produce oxygen and removes carbon dioxide. So that is actually quite a good one for removing carbon dioxide. And it doesn't require electricity either, that one doesn't. The other ones is, there's a new one for food. So there's a planter box for planting plants, and there's a rations box, which is, I have one here. If I click on it here, you'll see what's stored in it, edible. And you can make cooking ingredients, store in it. I'm not going to build them just for now. The symbols will stay there till you click on them. So now, if I click on the algae, then right mouse click to come off it, you'll see it's gone. So again, with food, I'll just click on it, there we go. Go to compost. I will need compost for later on, so I'm going to put compost in this room over here, which I strategically placed here. And this will help me make dirt, which I'll need dirt later. So let's let them do their stuff. Speed up. Going back to the research. Let's have a quick look. Oh, we'll do this one now. And if I double check what the power usage is, again, each device tells you that's 60 watts. So, I mean, you can potentially just do this as well and join cables up like this. And what it would do, it will then share the power from all the batteries. No, it's not just you. Sorry. I mean, oh god. I mean, for anyone who's watching it and enjoying it, I honestly, we've not scratched the surface with this game yet. Really haven't. So when this cable does eventually go in, when they build this cable here, this average wattage, which currently is 360, and this line is currently at 60, so in that run it, that will all increase. They're going to go for food now, so just keep an eye on your food rations, make sure it doesn't drop too low, and then start building it. It won't be long actually before I build mush bars and click on forever. Mush bars is the quickest, easiest, cheapest way to feed your dupes. They're not over keen on it, but it is just so easy to do. I at some stage will have 4 or 5 of these machines running constantly just to get the food out. and even at the level I've played, which is quite a few hundred hours, I still haven't got into much of the food making stuff. But it is down to your preference of gaming. Some people will go straight to the food making straight away and enjoy it. It's down to what you want to do, like any decent game should be, really. So now I've put in these composts, don't have to do nothing. They're going to manage those automatically and dump the stuff in there as it's needed, so I won't have to worry. They're still being, now they've got no jobs, they are just putting stuff away in here, and you've got a level of how full and empty it is, so I'll come back to that in a minute. So we've got a nice little power bank here, building. So let's bring the what I will do then, I might as well just put the floor in here while they're doing that. Now, because I know this is the size of the room that's ideal, it's 63 tiles, it's advisable to then actually make a room above it if you're like me and you like to do stuff, and this will then make a room. It doesn't have to be for bedding, it could be for whatever it wants to be. Again, you'll see what else we're coming to in a minute. So let's come over to here. So that research is now complete. So if I come down to power, you will now notice I've got a couple of extra options. One of the biggest useful ones is a jumbo battery. So I now have larger batteries. Now, they've built that cable now, so before I put a big battery in, if you check the load, remember it was 360, so now it's 420, but also that is 420. So you can see what will happen is this load's going to just keep going. Now, little tricks you can do at the beginning is put a switch in here. There, that's going to build a switch. But what this is going to do is, just so I overpower and end up dragging too much power from all this, I can just turn this switch off and let these batteries feed this and whatever's the side here, and then these batteries feed that. It will stop them being interfering with each other. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a larger battery in. I always leave a build gap between anything like that, so if you ever need to put an extra hamster wheel in or extra power, it's not hard to do. So 1, 2, 3, so that one can go there, and I will deconstruct. Actually, I might as well deconstruct all of those. You know there's a joke there. I'm not going to do Ace because I'm actually really good. I don't actually think I've sworn this stream at all. Just shows how fucking mature I can be sometimes. Okay, let's right, the other really useful one in this power, you see, again, it's worth looking at the new stuff that comes in, is a wire bridge. It is exactly as it says in the tin, it's a wire bridge. So, for example, if I wanted to send this wire up to here, but not touch the wire there, I would just put it in, like so, and it would go up. I'm going to cancel that now because I don't want to build that. So you can actually bridge over wires. Is a very, very useful thing. We'll be using it loads. The build now also is very essential to how well your base is going to be managed. This is where the height of the rooms being just 3, like I've done, isn't always a great idea. It doesn't give enough room for manoeuvrability. I can, if we have time at the end of the stream, I could even show you some of my save games and just show you like some of the different things I've done. That'll be around 10 o'clock, so roughly an hour. But I'll be honest, I'll leave it up to you guys, see what you guys would like to actually decide. So, I've put that switch in here now. And now what I can do is I can just turn it, click on it, press off, and he will, while Duke will come along, they've turned it off. So now no power is coming down to here. So this now is back to 360 load, and this is now back to 60 watts of load. So it really makes it handy having a flickable switch to give yourself instant power to nick it from somewhere else. There are also safety factors you can put in, which we'll be doing later on. So back to research. You have to research an awful lot here. Plumbing. So we've actually got plumbing. So I'm researching plumbing next. And there, that's all the power in. Have I? Yep. I've just just realised that they are really struggling to breathe down here. My bad. I'm just going to shove an oxygen thing down here, but actually I'll put one of these down actually. The one that uses algae. I don't tend to use these a lot, but if, for example, if you put machines in certain rooms, they don't tend to like machinery. I can't even remember if you're allowed to put oxygen machines in a sleeping environment. Let me find out if they will get pissed off. So let's put the power in, drag it along. You can go over gaps like that, and that's going to then join onto that one. When you see that flashing like this, you can see it means the printer's ready to be used. So click on it. It is worth pointing out, if I don't use it, it doesn't regenerate. It just sits there waiting for me to use it, so the next ones won't come. So it is best to use it. Even if you don't want them, you can click reject all. I don't need water because I've got tons of, even though, well, it doesn't say I've got a lot, but there's lots of water I can see. This one uses increased air consumption, gains attribute bonus, increased machinery. I'm going to go with that one. Do sometimes need to read what the dupes can and can't do. It is really, really, really important. Also, do bear in mind, I've just put another dupe in, so I've got 6 now. Keep an eye on your food level. 42k is absolutely fine. As you can see, they're all working together quite nicely. Because I haven't put other things prioritised as standard, they just tend to just go for what needs doing straight away. But this will change rapidly. Oh, there we go. That's that. You know, as you can see, the black air here is carbon dioxide, which is one of the reasons why I put this down here, because it will hopefully get rid of that. So I've got 4. So hamster wheels, I tend to put them in either 4s or 5s. 4 wheels, 4 batteries, or 5 wheels, 5 batteries, with a gap for 1, sometimes 2. Usually in the middle. That way I can put anything in the middle. I've actually found more useful things. A couple of days ago, I haven't been using in game, which I started using, and it's like, wow, I can actually fit that in this gap, and it was so handy to have it. It would have been a revamp of everything. So has this air's gone in? Yep, the air's in here. So they now have air in here. They can breathe. Let me see if they do like that actually. There must be other types of machinery they don't like. Plumbing. Right, so we've actually got plumbing just appeared whilst I was chatting to you guys. So we'll slow down their sleep pattern. Go to plumbing. There's a liquid pipe, which is self-explanatory. It's a pipe. There's a liquid bridge. Very similar, straightforward as the electric bridge, just for building over things. Oh, piss. I'll explain what just happened then in a minute. That's something called save lag. When you get so far in the game, I don't know why, but when it comes to the morning, the game saves. Then what happens is, if you've got something on build like this, and you're trying to put it down when it saves, it will just put a spam of them across the screen. There is a mod to stop it. I'm not sure if they're working on a fix for that or not. The best thing is, when you see it coming to daytime, try and avoid. Jesus Christ, they don't like breathing. Okay, now we've put the other air machine in, oxygen machine. This workload's gone from it's gone to 480 now from 360, so it has increased quite a lot. What I am going to do is I'm going to turn this switch on, wait for him to turn it on. There we go. And now they're turning this switch on. I'm going to turn it, get rid of these. And the batteries, so I can upgrade the batteries. But I'm actually going to probably move these somewhere, actually. Again, you tend to do this. You do this an awful lot during the game. You just keep changing things around. So how many spaces is that one there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So yep, that'll be fine. Let's do a. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to make a power unit up here as well. Then that's the first part of it. I wouldn't normally get rid of the oxygen stuff there being built, being used, but as I'm trying to show you guys before the end of the stream, while I am due to finish at 10, if we have enough people interested in watching, I will carry on if people are interested. Okay, so while they're all building that together, I'm going to try and work from the doorway and do a power, and put in at the door will be there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave a gap, and 1, 4. If you have any questions on why I'm doing something or how do I do something, just don't hesitate to ask. It could be something we haven't got to yet. I'll just say I'll explain in a minute, or it'll explain later on, or I don't know. I won't lie, don't worry. I'll do that to my kids enough. Let's put a door in here. I tend to try and keep this stuff parallel. It's a bit of a OCD thing, and again Dawson will verify that he is worse than I am. Sometimes what I do tend to do with these is I don't some games I play, I don't leave the gap I leave the gap really, really short here. But I do find those ones, the oxygen doesn't flow so well, and it's so hard. If you can imagine the signalling cut off here, you wouldn't be able to see the oxygen level. So it is best to have spaces so you can see so you can hold your mouse in to see that there is still carbon dioxide in there. And it's slowly getting rid of it now. It's becoming breathable-ish. Right, okay, so we're getting somewhere. While they're doing that, I'm going to go to resources and go to our next stage, which is actually next one is my useful one. It's actually water. I'm going to go to the advanced research, so they can start doing more advanced research. Again, talking about things falling down from the ceiling, you see something fell down, whoops, in front of a storage bin, and that means they can't access the storage bin now. So everything in that storage bin is unaccessible. So make sure you dig, and this is why you've got to keep an eye on your dupes. You really, really have to keep an eye on your dupes. And what's going on? Oh, right, there's one there. I'm going to put a nice power supply in at the bottom. And again, just if you know your wattages on stuff, which is fairly straightforward, the hamster wheels generate 400 watts of power. Obviously, batteries don't generate it; they carry it. So that's a different thing altogether. But basically, then everything uses watts, like we said before. So if we come over here, and we said that the machine here for cooking, if I go press F2, it will tell me it uses 240 watts, and the air machine uses 120. That one's using 120 as well. This one doesn't use any because it's not powered. So okay, with that, I'll leave them to build that quite nicely. They are really getting on with that quickly. If you're short of time or resources, sometimes if you are going to say go up a ladder through resource like this, you can do this sometimes. And what you do then is you must run dig and then dig in between. But it does save them building loads of ladders. But to pre-warn you, it does mean they will walk slower up and down the ladders. And as the base gets bigger, that becomes essential for them getting around, as you can imagine. So now, just like I'm just randomly putting rooms down. I kind of am, but I'm sort of getting ready for what I'm going to need. As you can see, I've got no problems being created at the moment. Problems will start up very, very shortly, though, because I've done this way. As I said before, there's every way that's right, it creates 4 ways that's wrong. And everything that's going perfect, it can literally take between 2 to 3 cycles for everything to go pear-shaped to the point where you start losing people and they die. So do keep that in mind, why you need to keep an eye on things. Also be very careful, because these diffusers, although they're pumping oxygen around, because I'm using it to pump oxygen around big areas, we will eventually run out of algae, because we can only use what algae we've got at the end of the day. So you either need to dig loads, or we need to find a more efficient way of distributing the airflow, which I will get to very, very shortly. Right, so we've got the water. We don't have dirty water yet. I was hoping to just decide whether I'm going to go left or right. Loads of materials here. I want to dig out all this copper. There's loads of slime and algae here and clay. That's pretty great. We'll need that. Let's have a quick home heart. We're gonna use dirty water on the left. So what I'm going to do is let's get them digging down here. Actually, saying that, no. I'm going to, my bad. I'm going to change that one around. Just cancel that. What I'm going to do, that's a ladder, and I'm going to put a wall in here to stop any water from flowing to the right, and this is going to become a water tank basically for all the dirty water, polluted water. I'll come back to that in a minute. They should just start digging that when they've got time. Let's go to skills and let's see what's going on. So let's go for more digging skills, and I did say it does tell you here these numbers mean what you've already got. So I've got 4 diggers and 1 carry, so I'm going to go to construction, which means they'll increase construction. This is that idea, this method I was telling you about earlier about leaving those gaps. It works really well. I'd say it slows them down, but it does speed up your dig time at the beginning of the game. I used to use it all the time, then I just realised as the base was getting so big it just wasn't feasible for them to get up and down. Later on there are actually ways to get them to go up and down quicker as well. There are different types of ladders, and there's actually a fireman's pole. So go back to plumbing. We never actually finished off plumbing, I'm so sorry. Liquid bridge, which are very similar to the power bridge. The only difference is the liquid bridges, you'll see there's an arrow on it. It means it can only go that direction. So do keep that in mind when we come to use them. The other plumbing one is a pump for pumping out water. So what I would tend to do is put a pump in the bottom of somewhere like the water here, so we can actually just pump water out to places we need. But obviously to do that I now need to build a ladder down. Again, when they're in submerged in anything poison or water, try and do the ladder build solid. Although it takes them longer, it means when they come down to do jobs, build things, they can get back out quickly if they run out of oxygen. They haven't started on this yet over here, so okay. Actually, saying that, I mean, to be fair, I haven't actually given them a chance to actually stop working. Does that sound familiar, Race? Okay. So we've got that plumbing there. There's a liquid pipe. I don't need that. I'll explain that one in a minute. Furniture, water cooler. I won't use that just yet. Right. So we'll go back to research. I forgot. Oh, we're researching advanced. So we've now got the water cooler. They're currently researching advanced research, which means we'll be able to research more advanced things. We will be needing them very, very shortly. So I tend to try and get this one out of the way. But you do need the dupes to skill to actually research the higher things. So again, I'll need to make sure some skill levels have come across into the research areas very shortly. Okay, so again, this can be a little bit annoying, and this is something to look out for when you're doing it. You see these 3 dupes there were just on the hamster wheels charging these 2 batteries up, which is great. But what happened is they're still building 2 more batteries. So when they build these batteries, we're then going to have another battery or 2 that need charging. They're going to have to come back and charge it again. So sometimes what I would do in this scenario is prioritise. I'll do I would like to do a 6 for the batteries, or a 7 for the batteries and a 6 for these. And remember that's for build only. Now they're built, if I give these a priority now, it's a 6 would be for using it. I don't want that. So always remember that there's 2 different types of priority. There's a priority for your building of an item, and there's priority for actually using it. So even down to a wire, I can prioritise a wire once it's damaged. I can just say that wire there is damaged, needs repairing. I can click on priority, increase it to a 7, and every time that particular part of the wire gets damaged, it will actually it will repair that really quickly because it's an urgent one. Right, let me get this power coming down from the top. There will be a door coming through there at some stage. Let them do that. I think we're almost... Alright, yep, they're starting to build down here, so the water supply is coming along nicely. What I would do... I'm going to do that very quickly, purely so I can put a plumb in here. I don't tend to put the water pump in, but there are some things that require dirty water, especially plants, for food. So I don't tend to put a water pump in until later on. But what I am going to do is put a bottle emptier. That's actually quite important to get that in. Just remember that water level is quite close there. Now, at first, I always found the game a bit tedious with the night time. You're like, oh god, come on, hurry up, hurry up. But you will find, as the night time comes along, it gives you time to sit back and actually go, right, what have I done wrong? What can I change? And what can be slightly different. Right, so while they're working over here, come on, I don't want to do too many jobs. No, let them just get on with what they're doing now. So we've actually got 2 different power banks now, which, to be honest, are running really, really efficiently. You can see it's flashing colours. It's sort of saying there is high usage through it there. It's saying that the maximum load for it potentially is 540 at the moment. So that's still not dangerous. That's still fine. I tend to try and stop them around 800-900 mark. But you'll find every time you do something to upgrade, it will change. You'll just keep... Like, for example, there'll be you might have pure low oxygen here, so you put an oxygen machine in here. Where are you going to tap the power in? Will it be from that one or that one? And when there's wires all over the place, it's easy to make a mistake or not realise where you're taking the power from, and it just drains the juice. So now we've got this. We've now got a super workstation can go in, and it's exactly what I was saying about putting in extra little things. There is another one that's just appeared on here, which is called a skill scrubber. It's for basically changing their skills. So if you want to remove a skill and give it, so if you need to do something urgently, like given research, you can do it. I haven't actually used this yet. I don't know if there's a better use for it that I haven't seen, but I haven't needed it yet, so therefore I've not bothered with it. And you might be quite surprised to hear that when you think I've got hundreds of hours in this game. But yeah, that's there's a lot of things I haven't actually touched. Again, as I hit things I haven't touched, I will keep trying to mention them, just so you know that why I haven't touched them. Maybe someone who has played the game might have no reason why I need to. Feel free to ask questions, even if it seems stupid if you don't play the game and you've got a question to ask. Shit, I did 2 high on that, so I've done 5 high. So let's cancel the top one. There we go. They can only dig 4 high that they can reach. So I tend to usually only tend to do 3 normally, but I was actually going for resource in this one. Cool, they're all going. Oh, got another dupe just come in. So let's see what we don't want. Food. Our food level's still staying the same. Decreased bathroom speed. Bear in mind that may sound really minuscule, but if you've only got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bathrooms and 7 dupes, and they all need the toilet, that can cause a few problems. Right, they're really going down quite nicely with this. Actually, very, very pleased with how they're doing this. So while they're doing that, I'm going to put this water in here. That's just so they can empty the water in there. Yep. See, now I can see polluted water on here. So if I tick water, they will let any water they come across, they will bring it down the container and empty it into this here. And in this one, this will be polluted water. I mean, if I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I would say this is probably about 2% of the game, maybe 3%, to give you an inkling of what you're actually expecting. It gets. This is not the complicated part yet. It gets a lot more complicated later on, and very scary. It happens very quick as well, but you just have to keep learning. The secret is just keep trying new things. I think it's one of the mistakes I made as a new player. I can do a super dig now, or I. Do you know what? I'm going to go for research actually, because that will be actually better, and I'll do another researcher just in case. So we now can research more advanced things. There is actually a way to get oxygen using water, so that's going to be something I will be getting ready for. Actually, I'll do the sanitation. So I think some of you might be very interested in the sanitation, how it works. Okay, so while they're digging this hole over here, and while they're doing this, I'm going to make this. Let's make this a little bit wider. If you want the dupes to climb somewhere they can't access, because literally, for example, I couldn't dig in here at the moment because they can't access it. What I tend to do is just put ladders in and remove them later on. You can use floors and ladders, but ladders just seem to be the easiest way to do things. Then once I put those ladders in there, I can just say dig out all that area there, and they can actually get access to it now. You see, it's well worth doing that. And I tend to, it's best to dig at the top and then work your way down. If you try and do it the other way around, it can become a nightmare. As you can see now, things fall on them. They can get blocked in. That dupe was actually stuck then because they can only jump down 2. If we hadn't noticed that and they'd gone to bed or something and left her, that would have been, well, she would have weed herself for a bit and then starved to death if I hadn't noticed. It does usually tell you if someone needs help. Again, insufficient oxygen, it's always giving me that message, but I think it's just the way I run the game. Cool, so yeah, they're using those ladders as a bridge to go into there, and as soon as that's dug out, I'm going to dig out this below. I'm trying to make this area here a little bit bigger to accept to be a bigger water tank, basically. Now, whenever I do anything like this, you must bear in mind they can only walk down two. So if I dig 3 like that, whoever come and dig down here won't actually be able to get out. Do keep things like this in mind. The other thing you can do to protect them from that is actually put a ladder in first, and then I can say, right, now put it in. So now what I'll do is I tend to do it in 2s like that. I'll do that one. I'll let go of that in a minute once I've done those. Okay, so was it 1, 2? So if I take away those 2, they can start digging into there as well. To be fair, that's probably cancel that, and I'm going to just dig along there. I tend to make the floor into a tiled floor. Reason is if you need to send plumbing or electricity through, if it's just dirt, mud, and you say, yeah, let's put some power through, or plumbing, as you dig through the mud, the water will pour out. So I really do advise putting a basin straight away. I then tend to put these bases at the side of the walls for doing the same thing. I'm not doing that just yet. Oh, I heard something then, hold on. Now there are these little mini volcanoes that erupt with things, anything from polluted water to lava, and they are used as resources. I thought I heard one. There's a couple of ways to tell. It's a different type of material used. There'd be like 4 blocks in a different material, and then you see it on top now, so it's clearly not there, but it can be inside something. One of the other ways I have found it by accident was by doing this. Obviously that there means I can't dig anyway because it's I'm not strong enough yet. But sometimes you can pick up the things by just highlighting a dig area. But that's probably a really poor example. I will show you more detailed that a little bit later. My pipe isn't long enough now. Yes, that is correct. I have been told that by my wife a few times as well. So, as it's not long enough, I can't extend that pipe. What I tend to do at this stage, I tend to put 2 of these in. So I'm going to put another one in just here. So let me put that one in there. And that means then when the water level's down here, they'll just come down the ladder and grab it from there, hopefully. Let's take away those while we're at it. Geez, they've got again. You come back sometimes, you find they've just done really quick stuff like this. So I haven't marked this one off yet for polluted water. So any polluted water they find will now get dumped straight into here. Now I can actually get them to dig out this. This isn't overly recommended purely because of the germ overlay, which is F9. So if I go to F9, you can see the germ overlay is absolutely phenomenal here. So I would normally put a door in here. I don't advise it, but you can actually send these guys down here to dig out here. Now, this means I can dig this out to get more fluids in here, obviously. The other way I would personally do it is I would come down in a minute and I'll dig across. I'll dig a line across, and then I would work all my way down to the bottom, come to the top, and then just dig through. But we will come to that in a minute. Where are they getting that dirty water from, out of curiosity? Where the hell have they got that dirty water from? I actually can't see where they've got it from. Oh, one of it's from the sinks. It might be from the sinks, actually. Okay, so we're over here now. Now he's just pointed out that my plumbing was a bit short. While they're doing... It is nice when they work in tandem like that. Right, here we go. So we've got a few more. He can dig harder now. He's got a better dig, and we are going to do improved carrying for you. So someone's going to be carrying materials, delivering materials. Really think. Yeah, I think it might be the toilets. Actually, I don't tend to use these toilets. You'll see why in a minute. I get rid of them quite quickly. This is actually one of the reasons why. They need emptying. And this is they just have to come with a plunger. I do think it might be the sinks, actually. Yes, I think it's the sinks, Ace. Actually, that's the clean water that side. That's the dirty. But yeah, unfortunately, it's going to take one of them a couple of minutes to come and plunge this, which puts them out of action for that time. Which is why I'm going to change everything in a minute and do things slightly different. That's a new tile to be used in walls. Sorry, it's lagging, so so basically it's so fluids can actually go through, but won't stop gas. Plumbing, here we go. We now have a new lavatory and a shower. I'll come to that in a moment. And on a medical, we have a new sink. Right, as we have a spare room up here. Actually, I'll do it here. So let's put the door in there, and let's put a... while that's going through, I will see if I can just build... I've got to research some other things. Ventilation. Actually, saying that we haven't got ventilation yet, so... It's knowing where to start, where to finish with this. Right, so... So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some new toilets in and new sinks. So the sinks go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guarantee it's been too much. I'm probably going to go over my 96 now. And then these are new toilets. I'll be a bit careful because I'm going to be going into this sludge over here in a minute. I don't want to do that just yet, so I'm going to just put a wall up there to stop them digging into there. I'll let them get on and do that in their own time. I'm in no rush for it. How are we doing down here? Oh, very nice actually. They've done very nice. Just to explain to you how they mop up water. This is water here. If you press M on the keyboard, it brings up a mop. Now, if you mop it up, what happens is they come and mop it, and it puts them in little bottles like that. It's this little bottle there behind. You can't see it very well because of the other stuff that's been collected. So. And then what they will do when there's time, they will come and empty them into this and dump it in, and then just dump it into the water. And again, they'll only dump clean water into here, because that's what I asked for. Okay, while they're doing that, I think they might be getting ready for the shutdown for the night. I'm not sure. Getting close. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, rather than move this water from over here, I'm actually going to nick it. So So I'll just do some ladders going down here. That should be alright like that, actually. Go to plumbing, and I remember I mentioned about there being a pump. There's a liquid pump. So I'm going to put the pump. I tend to put it near a ladder in case it needs repairing and they haven't got to go through the water too much. Whether there's an easy way, I'm not sure actually. There to eliminate that problem from earlier race, you see now I've done another water pump here. So they'll now use this one for water, and if the water goes back up, they will use that. I've made a big area here because you will need a lot of water. Oh, no one told me there was a Duke waiting to come in. Okay, so vomiting, no dear. Night owl. As you can see at the moment, stress level is 4% is the highest. If I click on it, it will show me 3%. It's not a problem. Wherever it was, nails, but he seems to be happy now, relaxing down. It could be because he was doing some stuff in the water. They don't like working in the water, to be honest. So while we're like that, they don't like doing that. Right, okay, so while we're doing that, I'm going to build across here, but I don't want to knock into it, so I don't want the water to drop down while they're working. And then this is why it's important not to build more than 2 or 3, because you'll need that extra. They can, for example, here I can then build a floor in here later, or I can get them to stand here at the bottom and actually dig out this from standing at the floor. They can dig up to 4 blocks, as I said before. So this is giving me the option to dig this out without where they can actually reach it, without me having to make something for them to stand on. Which entire section? This section on the right, you mean here, Ace? Sorry. The water will rise, yes, because I'm going to be dumping more water in there, Ace, by the way. So, what I'm just going to do very quickly is you really do need to keep an eye on your dupes here, because they can get stuck in these, and then they'll stop running out of oxygen. I want to put this in, but I daren't do it while Ruby's down there, because there we go. But then what you will find, you'll click on it, put it in. There's something now needs digging out, and then some idiot will jump down the hole, and then someone will come and block it while they're in the hole. Maybe there's a way around it. I don't know. It's not something I've even looked at into, to be honest. So, okay, so we're actually getting somewhere with this. Oh, Jesus! What's happened to you here? Okie dokie, and let's design where I want the wall to go for this. To be honest, yeah, that'll do. They won't dig where they can't reach. I mean, they won't be able to reach there, but this is good for a guideline for me. That's done. No, they can't breathe in water, and even this area here, this is all carbon dioxide, but it is going to be getting deeper, full of water. And what I'm going to do now is oh, we got night time. Okay, cool. Right, you probably noticed here we've got these new sinks in. New sinks and new toilets. So I'm going to set the direction to when they leave the toilets to wash their hands. Okay. I don't know if Dawson's going to love or hate the next bit. It's a level of increase. Oh, actually, oh God, I didn't actually realise they put the pump down there. So, what I will do with this pump, get it ready, I'm actually going to put a power supply in for the pump. And bring it up. Yep, I was just double checking where to join it onto. Okay, so if I... This is someone cleaning the toilet, you see. This is why you have kids, actually, people. It's so they can do stuff like clean your toilets. Just saying. Okay, doors. As you see, the toilets are now in, but we've got messages on them saying no liquid input, no liquid outtake. So just going to slow down the game a little bit. There we go. Now I have got to feed water into these. Now I have seen that some people just do a line straight across. I tend to not like doing that, purely because I like to know where the plumbings are and what they're doing. So I'm going to put the clean water is going to be here. Yep, roughly here. And then the dirty water I'm going to put above it. I just realised they can't get into that room there, so they can't build up there because they can't get into this room here and they can't reach it. It means they wouldn't be able to reach these unless there was a room above it, but there is. So anyway, so while see on this one they're actually building the pipes on the bottom from the ground. They won't be able to build those ones from the bottom. They'll have to build it from the top. Through the walls is fine, but they can only do it through one brick. Okay, so go out to the plumbing. White is your intake, so I would go in like that. I tend to find life this way purely, and if anything goes wrong and you want to destroy a build, it just makes life easier just to get rid of things or see where things are going wrong. If it goes straight across, you may not see where a blockage is going. I don't normally do rooms this high, actually, but again, this is what I was saying earlier about sometimes higher rooms are better, sometimes they're not. Again, what I've seen some people do, a lot of people do, they just do that. But then I found personally that can cause other blockages, or when you start getting through. So now what we've got to do, as they're busy building those, I've now got to put the plumbing in to get the cold water in now. So I'm going to bring this down here, down the ladder to the water pump, and there's an arrow there saying output, so the green's out. So hopefully they'll come to that. Do you remember that big body of water here? I've just topped it up into here. So I've just dumped all of that water into here, and I will build a wall there at some stage. So they are now building all this. Now we've got to do is, although it's looking really nice and it's coming together nicely, I've still got to do the output. I've just realised actually I don't need... Oh, I'm about to cancel the builds on that, but I'll just save a bit of time more than anything. So let's go back to plumbing, pipes. Right. Obviously you don't want to cross-contaminate, and this is where your crossover. If for any reason I need to come down here, I would then use the bridge. The good thing about bridges is they do tell you which way it flows, so it has got a directional flow. Because I haven't built anything there yet, I don't tend to like building something across there, because it's there's already clean water going across there, and it can get a bit confusing. So I should actually join it across there. That's going to be easier and make more sense. Just do there. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. Let me just cancel this bit. Just putting this in so they can get access to it. They haven't put that in there. Have they done the power? Yes, they have put the power in. So what I'm doing now is I'm a bit careful because I don't want to knock any of this water coming over here. So very quickly and temporarily, I'm going to put a liquid vent in here and then join it up. As I said before, I can build through walls and floors. If I try and build through this, it will actually cut it out, which means then airflow will start going through all the poison toxins will actually come through and start poisoning them. So I don't want to do that just yet. There are ways to stop it later on, so I'm not too worried at the moment. As you can see there, I was going to see if any... Yeah, I've got some skill up. Digging and tinkering. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can get this in before it gets to bedtime. There's not mine. Now in a minute I want to close this wall off here, block this wall off, so I don't want this isn't an area, but as you can see there's still water dripping in. what I might do, I might just mop it up. You can see that pump's working now. So if I press the pump, you can now see the water is now going through. I did say you'd like this bit, Dawson, didn't I? And now you can see that these are all filling up with water. And the top of the toilets will fill up now. There we go. So they're all now full, and we now need to double check. Oh, they haven't actually done that one because they can't access it. That's my bad. So if I just dig out the ground just there, there's a thing there that they can't reach, a plumbing. So there's a corner they can't actually do. So I don't know if they can use these toilets, but they can't actually drain. So let me just wait for the morning now. There's a bit of lag, you see. There we go. There we go. Right. So while they're doing that, I'm just going to see what other. Don't really want them just yet. Saying that, yes, I do. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go for the electrolyte stuff. Okay, cool. So here they come. I don't know will they use those toilets? No, they're going to use the crappy toilets. I was about to check if I need to make this priority. Oh, so that sand just dropped down then. I'm really careful with that. Again, if I just left that thinking they'll do it, there we go. That is now working. So the plumbings are now all working for that. What I tend to do is I won't destroy these toilets just yet. I go through different phases. Sometimes I destroy them straight away. Sometimes I don't destroy them until very, very late in the game because they're great for emergencies. One of the things you can do with doors, this is a more complicated part of it, I can then start closing this, locking this door, and actually at the moment it's on auto. I can then set it just to stay open, like so, or I can click lock, and now it's closed, locked, no one can actually go in and out there. That will force them to use upstairs toilets, but that can cause problems if there's things in here like the compost he's doing. So what I can do is I can then come to the door, and I can actually set only Nikolai can actually go into the door, and then Nikolai will come in to sort this out and use these toilets, I suspect, and it will force the others into there without these being drained. The other thing you can do is if you might have a one-way system. You probably notice I put doors in the back of here, even though it goes to nowhere. That's because later I know I will be building it to the right. It just makes it more sense to me to have a door in there. So what you can actually do, if you wanted to, you can actually set this door here to be an outdoor only, and then they can only use this door to come in. So there is a lot of options. I mean that sort of stuff is really, really handy later on when you're trying to micromanage everything. Let me just double check I put this toilet back. Yeah, I did. So I do believe we've done the research. Yep. So we've now got a new type of oxygen. There's a rust deoxidizer. We don't need that at the moment. Electrolyzer. Let's go this way. Again, the overlay shows us there's loads of oxygen here. There's naff all here, especially in the toilets. So just for starters, I'm going to put one in just here. Just more of a let's get some extra oxygen around the place. The differences with these ones is they require water. We'll add clean water at that, so it mustn't be the dirty water. So there's the intake to white. Scroll down, and then that's now connected. So once that's built, they'll be taking water from the bottom here, and this is what I was saying before. You do use a lot of water. Again, I can show you some of my tanks a bit later on how I contain the water in 3 levels. I have an immediate tank like this, which is normally roughly the size of 2 of these water pumps. And then what I'll do is then I'll have a overflow area underneath. So any water will say hypothetically come over here, drop down, and this entire area here, around that area, would all be a water storage area. I use it as an overflow, and that way it helps me keep an eye if water gets short. I can then do things like take water from the bottom for the plumbings, and they just take water at the top for important things like drinking and food. And I even then do a third one, which is a second overflow, which goes in deeper. But I mean, we can't even see deep at the moment. That noise means the printer is ready. Oh, that's... Actually, no, we've already got there. Sand. No, we've got 72 tons of sand, that's fine. Now let's go for another dupe. I've just realised my food level is going down slowly, so I need to make sure... Oh, there we go, that's the electrolyzer there. So if I press the oxygen overlay, you'll see the oxygen overlay now shoves oxygen there real nicely, and it does not require algae, which we will be running out at some point. This will be taken over. Now, if I've got time, I might be able to show you ventilation. Hold on, yeah. Right, ventilation, same as plumbing, but it's for gases basically. I've just marked them all as sort of red because I'd like to show you them. If this is something I do myself. Let's do that one. Just a heads up, I've clicked this one here, but this one hasn't been researched. So you see it's lit up, so it will research that first, and then this one. So you can literally just go to the end and do a whole row of them sometimes like that. But right, now we need to start keeping a better eye on electricity. Yeah, it says, good job I said that. 1020 watts going through that cable now. So we are actually pushing the boundaries on that. So what I'm going to do is, before I turn it off, is, whoops, I will feed the power from the bottom one there. Just prioritise 6 stats, they increase the speed, there we go. And then now I'm going to turn off that power. So as soon as I turn that power off, it will then be using all the power for this up there. There, it's off now, which means this wattage should drop down from 120 to... We'll find out in a minute. Ah, sorry. No, it won't, because I've just spotted that one there. When you go to destruct things, there's a little menu that comes up. It's worth checking you've done this right. Make sure you got selected what you want. If you have all, it will destroy the wall, power plugs, plumbings, anything behind it. So make sure it has selected what you want. This one's the power lines, so I'll do that. And that I did one for some reason. That will actually destroy those power lines there now. Okay, so if I come over here, you'll see this power line is now at 720 watts rather than going over the 1000 mark. Is the frame rate stuttering? Is it? I'll just stop scrolling fast for a moment to tell me what you think. Right, if I've got, I'm not going to do anything in here because I might have time just to build this down here. I mean, do people want me to carry on streaming, or do you want me to carry on another night? Okay, I will make sure I don't do that again. I'll try and move slowly. If I do rush past anything that I haven't explained properly, again, please do double check and ask me. Whoops, I need to make sure these toilets are being used properly as well. So what I am going to do is, I don't want to lock the doors. I can just disable toilets, so I can actually just disable a building. I think I might just do that for now. I'll leave the sinks because they... Oh, damn it, I do this a lot. I've disabled the wrong thing. I've disabled disinfecting rather than actually disabled the building. I do... Oh, for God's sake, they're straight in. Anyway, these guys are now using the toilet up here. If I press F6, you will then see the polluted water is now emptying. It is worth just checking that there's no blockages and it gets stuck. As your piping gets more complicated, it won't. Sometimes it will get confused which direction. Again, you'll understand when more complicated builds come in. Sorry, do I? Well, at least I'm answering them. There we go. So that's now actually So that's actually draining, and you see that there is the cartoon animation effect of water going through pipes, which is nice. Which is a pain in the arse though when you've got it in the walls because you can't see it. I tend to flick between F2, which is electricity, F6, which is plumbing, and F7, which is gases. An awful lot when I'm playing. So I'm really happy with that plumbing situation now. That's he's not, because he's actually cleaned the bloody toilet. He doesn't need to. So disable that building and disable that building. I'll probably just leave one toilet open just in case these break. Sometimes I've had it before where something's dropped, something's broke from the mud above, and it's blocked the doorway. They can't get into the toilet, and then they start pissing themselves everywhere in your base, which is really, really annoying. Oh, actually, we've got an extra tile now. So, right. So let me put. Let me get rid of these a minute. Just dig these up. Okay, so this is quite an important bit now. We actually have an airflow tile. So what we can actually do with the airflow tiles is put them in here. Now, basically, they're important to put in the rooms. So though this has got an oxygen thing in here, when they start sleeping, it will create carbon dioxide, and it will actually start poisoning them. So you need to make sure the airflow can go through. And yes, it is that realistic. So I tend to put vents in on both ends that pump the good air through to the left and this end. Keeping the crap air out of there, and this will pump good air into here, which means I will eventually go turn this off because it'd be doing two areas. So yep, I won't do that one yet because it's not done, and I haven't got any option. At the moment, they are having to hold their breath in the toilets. It is breathable. They will hold their breath to go toilets. Okay, we are about to do something very interesting. If I can get this done in time. Right, this is something. This is a way. I don't know if this is right. There's no. I say there isn't really a manual for any of this. Sometimes, when you get a line like this, you want to get rid of, just dig every second thing. That way, he can get back. It's a bit tedious, but it does stop them from. Otherwise, they will end up stuck. Right, there we go. Right, okay. I just need to decide how high. Okay, I need to slow the game down now because all things are happening before I get a chance to do it. I'm going to make. I've been calling these oxygen rooms, so about actually no, that should be fine there. So I'm going to put some oxygen in here. Sometimes I block off the wall to keep the oxygen in. Sometimes I don't. Depends again on the map. And again, this has actually been one. I mean, again, I know some people will absolutely love this side of it, where you just micromanage absolutely everything. Right, while they're building that, I will then get ready for the power to go in. Before I join it up to there, let's make sure we have enough power space. 720. I forgot the wattage of these damn things now. I can't see it for some reason. Why can't I see it? We'll find out in a minute. I think that's going to be the best way. Let's join that oxygen onto that. So I've got one over here, haven't I? Damn it. 120. So you just... That was just I think that was 7 something, wasn't it? That is currently 720. Yes, so that... Yeah, that's cool. So that'll be the last one I put in. I now need ventilation, so I'll put a gas pump in here. Let's put the gas pump in. Do you know what I am going to do? I'm going to cancel the walls purely so they can actually build this stuff without interfering. Yes, I need plumbing. What's it? Water. So I need clean water. Do try and avoid these sort of L-shaped things, because what will happen is you might need to put dirty water coming across here, and you won't be able to bridge it over that gap. So don't do L shapes in the walls, I advise. Normally what I would do is I'd do a straight line all the way down, but I'm trying to avoid it at the moment purely so you can see what's going on. So they're building this, what I call the auction room, and I thought one of them was going to get stuck at the bottom, then he need to get out. Okay, so we are getting somewhere now. I do believe that actually, before we do the next thing, I'll just show you the new things. We've now got an airlock, and one thing good about airlocks is it will stop poisonous gases getting out as well. So if, for example, where the water is, you will get a lot of carbon dioxide. Anywhere where they're breathing, I would normally put a vent in here to stop them from doing that. Mechanical one just needs power. I'm not going to put those in just yet. Oxygen, what have we got new now? Oh, any polluted air can be used with a deodorizer. So if I find polluted air, there's polluted air there. That's, to be fair, this is polluted air here. So if I put a deodorizer in here, I'll put it right next to it. You see it's all yellow there very clearly. And just to make it stick out even more, I will put one down here. And while that's doing that, I'm just going to finish off this build. I just realised I do need power for here. If I give that power, that's going to take up too much. It's going to take too much power from that grid. So what I'm going to do is move that oxygen to there and take it off that power grid. And just to remind people that see the wires joining, is an off switch there. That's why they're not. It just saves having to build wires later on if I need power. So if I need emergency power, I'll just turn that on and probably disable some buildings till it works. Right, so there's our machine now producing oxygen, tons of it. This is the little thing I've been doing. I've been then taking a pipe out, and I need to find out where the sorry, not toilet, sorry, the bedroom. So go to there, and then I'll take that into the bedroom, drop it down, and then put an air vent in. I think you can see what direction this sort of thing is going in now. Whoops! Just realised I've accidentally did a door on that. So let me just come back. I've given that door a priority of 6, which I don't want to do. It just... There we go. So what will happen now is, as soon as this power goes in, just realise it can't reach that. Yeah. This is why I didn't... There we go. Let them do that. And then also, while that's doing that and building... Oh, wrong one. Ventilation. Not this is probably going to be a bedroom, but here. I am not sure yet. But if it does become a bedroom, then we'll have air vents ready for it. I will say that. Now press F7 now. You can see the air going through. That is lagging a bit, so give it a second. There we go. Now those different colours are all different types of gases. So, oops, sorry. If I press pause, I can actually click on them, and that one tells me there it's oxygen. There. That one's the same colour as oxygen. So I apologise for my wife sneezing and explaining she's sneezing. Here is hydrogen, and that is carbon dioxide because it's black. There we go. And there are different... there's much more gases than just this. So, although this is a great idea and it actually puts the oxygen straight into the bedrooms for them, I am also putting dangerous gases in there as well. So, there is a way to battle this. The way to battle this, and you'll see, is I then put a... damn it, I don't actually have one. I need to go to gases. I thought I'd built one, but I didn't. Just filter them after. I can't seem to see the damn thing. I'll see it in a minute, and I'll click that. I should have seen it ages ago. There it is. That's a small one, so it won't take me long to do it. So I can get them actually... Now, although this is a great idea, what I tend to do, I tend to have several of these run in, and then they tend to lead to several rooms. But you do need to be careful if you've got rooms that are pushing oxygen in a room and then out to an open area like this or to here, they won't sort of stop feeding it ever. So you do want them to stop when it gets too full. By the way, if you remember earlier, we had all that yellow here. I've put the deodorizers in. It's starting to go blue now around the deodorizer, and the same with this one here. And this was very thick, if you remember. I tend to do that for them working, just to give them a little break while they're doing. And again, if you remember, I was building this is for the polluted water. I am going to dig all this out at some stage, and make it much more a bit more efficient. But I've got to be very careful here. I don't want to soak them in the water yet. So this is why I'm going to try and dig it out whilst they're before it's too late, sort of thing. To actually, I just realised I probably, if I prioritise that to an 8, I'll do that. Okay, so I can show you these other new plumbing bits. There's a liquid valve here. That's just for turning the liquids on and off, or controlling the flow, actually, sorry. So, for example, the water flow, I can actually control how much dirty water flows, how fast it flows, and the same with the clean. There are times it's really essential to be using it, and I'll explain that to you another time. Oh dear. Now, the other problem we've got to watch here, you can see the air is going to slightly reddish areas, and that is actually a mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen forming. The black is carbon dioxide here, and you see that there's the hydrogen. So that is absolutely dangerous, because that is slowly going to start pumping that through. There we are. That's hydrogen there, and that's carbon dioxide. So as soon as that research has come in, there's the valve that you don't want. There's a gas valve for actually reducing flow of gases as well. Wow, I wish I had one of those on my daughter. Do things wear out? No, actually they don't, but they can overheat, or if too much electricity goes through it, the wire or the device will overheat and it will need repairing. But overall, no, things do not wear out. Not that I've found yet, anyway. I mean, these are only scratching the surface. So we're nowhere near. There's a lot more to this than what's coming. If this research is almost done, I can show you this last bit. I just wanted to show you before I get off. There we go. So now I can come down to plumbing. There's a liquid filter, which I don't need at the moment, and I need a ventilation gas filter. So this one, these can hover in the air. White is intake, green is outtake, and orange is actually, or yellow is the filter. So what I'm going to do now is just do it. Let's put it into. I'm trying to think. Let's just put it that way for now. Just make it easy. So let's put it there. Unfortunately, though this is a great little thing for filtering, it also does require power. And so you can see where this stuff is all. What that is emptying. You look bloody happy doing that. Okay, so I'm going to prioritise this just to increase, just so you can see what's going on. And I am going to deconstruct gas pipes there. Now you can see that room there, the gases have stopped going in there because it's actually the gas vent has reached maximum pressure, which is 2,000 grams. If you just stare above it, where it says 23 Celsius. So because that's where the air vents come in handy. This one hasn't done it because I put the air vents in, and therefore the airflow just keeps flowing. Right. So let me just see what's going on down here. So I did pause it then for a moment. I'm just going to. Okay, so now they put the filter in really bloody quickly. Actually, I wasn't expecting it to go in so quick. I've paused the game. I click on it, and I then make sure this is going to give you an inkling of gases. Now, bear in mind, I have only used so far. I've only come across carbon dioxide, chlorine, polluted oxygen, hydrogen, natural gas, and oxygen, and that's all I've come across. And these are all the others that are in the game. So this is giving you an inkling of how big the game actually is. So I'm going to click oxygen, go back to the ventilation piping. So what I'm going to do, this is the thing that's sucking all the air in. So move that onto the intake, the white of the filter. The output is the orange, which I've told to be oxygen. So now only oxygen is going to go to there, and the other one is going to be do this down to here. And I'm just going to put a vent in here. It's a bit of a cheat, but it's more just so you can see what's going on. To be fair, it's not really a cheat. It's just more. It'll backfire on me more than anything. While that's doing that, I just want to triple check I've got enough power here. No, I'm actually going over 1,080 watts on a line. So you can see I am pushing it now. Okay, so if I press F7, you'll see the flowing air now. Why is that stopped? Hang on, it will tell you why it stopped. If you click pipe blocked, I suspect it hasn't built that pipe for some reason. Let's have a look. Yep, it is there. Oh, a duplicate's died. Jesus Christ. See, I wasn't paying attention. And again, just by doing that, something's died. Someone would have been calling for help, I suspect. How has he died? He's suffocated. Oh, for fuck. Do you remember me telling you about dupes getting stuck? This is a classic. So basically, he was digging across here. The idiot has then gone through the wall, built the wall, or someone else has, and then he can't get back, and then he's just suffocated. So he's actually dead now. No, I can't bring him back. But I do need to bury him. If I don't bury him, they will get rather upset about coming across the body. I was under the impression, and again, this is because I haven't got much help in this. You go to medical, and there's actually a tombstone. Once you put a tombstone down, it actually they vanish into a tombstone, and then the body goes away, and then they come along and cry over him. Now, I was building tombstones on top of them. I actually found out this one of the things I only found out a week ago. So you can actually build these over here, so a ton of them over here, and then they will actually pick him up and drag him over to the tombstone. But you do need to make sure they. Oh, that's why it's blocked. So that one there is not. Bear with me a second. Here we go. So now you'll see the airflow will carry on. So all the air has been sucked up into here. That's there's carbon dioxide at the bottom there. And that's hydrogen. It's blowing back out there, and carbon dioxide, because it's blowing only oxygen through here. And what that will do, it'll make the bedrooms a lot cleaner and easier to breathe. God bless you. To be honest, Dawson, it's very unlikely you won't be digging into that area. You are going to need to dig into every goddamn area of this game. I mean, I say you just like, for example, just here there is algae, so I'm going to have to come and get this algae at some point. So, and then there's more polluted water here, which I'm going to try and fill into here at some point. What I've just done here, if I just take that away, what I can just do is if I put a medicine, put in those. Oh, they're coming up straight away to build them. And I thought I'd done that right, but I didn't. So let's just demolish that wall in a minute. So once the tombstone's built, they'll put that in, and then they'll do. You can destroy the tombstones. You can't move them. If you destroy them, the bodies do vanish. I'm pleased to say. Do you see all that that sort of purpley, pinky, hazy, crappy thing? That's hydrogen up there. So I do need to look at getting rid of that. But the other thing is, hydrogen can be used as a power source at some stage as well. This is what the one last thing in this bloody game is like, though. So You can go on. I mean, is everyone happy if I stop tonight and then carry this on another night? Or do you really want me to carry on tonight? Actually, I did read your question already. If you've never been in that area, he's not already buried. No, he's not, I'm afraid. They actually will get quite upset about a body being around. Even now, if you look at some of the dupes, they will actually be upset mourning, you see. So we need to get, if they're mourning, then they're not actually working to their best ability. Okay, cool. What I'll do then is if I save this here, and then I will show you this one. I'll save this game for another time. That one's got a beautiful facility. Just before I shoot, do you want me just to show you a random base that I've done, so you can just see what it can go, or do you not want to spoil it? I don't mind either way. I'll wait for the first person to answer. I'll do what they say. Unless they say jump off a bridge, then that's going to make it really difficult. Are there people still watching? No. You don't want to see an old save? God damn it, you lot. You're horrible to me. Oh, actually, you might just witness this. I'm just quitting out anyway, but no, they're not going to come and get the dead body. Right, on that note, I will come and quit the game. I've saved it anyway, so it'll be at the point where I saved it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Really hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, get them ready for next time I stream it. What I'll do is I'll make sure we post to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and Discord when we stream next. I'm not sure when it'll be. I think it will be Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess. It'll be one of those 2 days, and it'll be 8 o'clock at night again. So, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the questions. It really makes it more enjoyable for me as well. On that note, good night, everyone. Papa chippa choo on door.